Glad you're with us on FloRacing. The Autos by Nelson 280 for the late model stock cars. And the zMAX Cars Tour is green from South Boston. Didn't take long for them to think about going 3 wide as Lane Riggs stuck the nose to the inside of Lapsevich in the 77, and he's still looking down to the bottom as Millington leads lap 1.
Got the protective barrels at the pit road wall there that were in play for a moment, but Lapsevich and Riggs were able to escape that. Of course, Lane Riggs is going to have plenty of fans here at South Boston Speedway. Peyton Sellers will as well, and I think the rest of this field well represented in our stands. We've got a clean and green start so far, guys. Good to see that, and it looks like Ryan Millington, a little distance between himself and the rest of the field. Look at Lane Riggs go. He's got some speed as he enters the corner. He's able to maintain it, and even on exit, he is flying. My goodness, Lane Riggs impressing me early on. Ryan Millington still your race leader. Lane Riggs still giving chase, and Trayton Lapsevich is in third. And the yellow lights are out.
We've got a car on the front stretch.
Yep. Chase Burrow. Got to take another look at this and see how it happened. Looks like he's the only car involved at the moment anyway, but the videotape evidence will tell.
The good news is we saw him get out of the car and okay. Here's what happened.
There was some contact from that.
And into the Death Wish Coffee restart zone comes Ryan Millington in the 15 and Lane Riggs in the 00, bringing us back down to green. Good launch there by Riggs on the bottom. They touch in the middle of the back straightaway, battling for the top spot with Riggs trying to roll the bottom. Millington keeping his momentum up top.
Lane Riggs and Ryan Millington duking it out initially here. Looks like Millington's got a lot of speed on exit, and then he wins the drag race down the straightaway, but Lane Riggs is not going anywhere. We could see these two cars side by side for quite a while, and the rest of the group behind him, Lapsevich, Brendan Queen, Landon S. Huffman. Maybe they can just wait around a little bit and see how that unfolds as these two try to duke it out for our race lead.
Such tight quarters there. Every corner, every lap, we're sitting on our edge of our seats here.
I said Lapsevich was going to wait it out, guys. It looks like he's not. He's trying to surge his way to the front right now. He might just slingshot right by Lane Riggs.
Lapsevich going to jump up to that second groove and make it work. And look who has arrived on the scene. Brendan Queen in the lead podium performing 0-3 to the back bumper of Lane Riggs in the battle for the final spot on the podium early in this race. Butterbean did not crack the top 5 in qualifying. Hard to believe for the 4-time Pole Award winner, but it's not taken him long at all to work his way up towards the top 3 with Mini Tyrell following in his tire tracks.
Fantastic stuff by Brendan Queen, and a really good job by Millington to first take the lead back from Lane Riggs and then get a little bit of separation from the field. Doesn't have much in front, setting the pace and outclassing the rest of the field. Lane Riggs still third, Brendan Queen fourth. He did a nice job to move up from starting 8th. He's +4 at the moment. Mini Tyrell, the guy we said we should not forget about, +2. He's going from 7th to 5th.
Guys, it's not going to be long. Looking out the window here. Potentially some lap traffic coming up. It's going to be cool to watch this race if they get to him before a caution or a break. As you see the 28 slow here.
That's Landon Rapp, who may have a tire down. He's way up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. Officials trying to give him every chance he can to get down to the bottom, but he's not going to make the pit entry. Race remains green for now as that car rolls down the front stretch. He's still flirting up towards the wall in turns 1 and 2, and Rapp is going to come to a stop to draw the Shitty Coolers caution for the second time in this race. 78 laps to go as Millington in the 15 on the outside brings us to the Death Wish Coffee restart zone. We're back underway, and Lapsevich had a slight edge to the entrance of turn 1 for the lead, but he gets really loose on the bottom.
Look at Lane Riggs. He's in attack mode again. His last restart was really good. Then he dropped back a bit, but this time it looks like Lane Riggs is trying to get furious on these guys. He's still got a little bit of ways to catch Ryan Millington, but Lane Riggs has jumped into second. Lapsevich to third. Brendan Queen took the outside, so he actually started in the 3rd row, even though he was sitting in 4th when the caution was thrown. Brendan Queen is back in the 4th. It looked like you saw 3 really fast cars taking the top side on the restart there, guys. What do you think, Travis? Just what they've got right now, they think coming down that hill is the way to go on the restart, I suppose?
Yeah, it seems like they're just so hard trying to get wound up on the bottom. The top two and the top rows really easily prevailed over Lapsevich there, so I'd look to see that all night, and I'd be curious if we restarted right now, if the 77 might choose top with the leader just for that reason. Once you get going, it's a little easier to fall into line at least, but those two guys went quickly, right? So.
The fight that won't go away, left side of your screen for second. The fight that is just starting to materialize, right side. That's Robusto on the 55. Tyrell in the 81, this for sixth.
Yeah, that battle for sixth right now, I think the best matchup on track. No offense to Lane Riggs and Trayton Lapsevich, but Isabella and Minnie duking it out right now. Who gives, who gets? I mean, Isabella, she's down even in the entry of turn one, Travis. She's got 4 wheels below the yellow line there, and that is a little bit common. Always we see people with 4 below the line in turns 3 and 4, but she's really diving it in deep right there in 1.
Guys, dare I say, I wanted to say it. Side job! There's 3 or 4 in a row there. That was really cool. And honestly, that's a great way to make passes at this point in the race.
Minnie Tyrell just had a big moment on turn 4. I was looking out the window. The fans here were acting like that was the battle for the win, with how many of them were standing up on their feet and pumping their fists. We got trouble turn 1. Aaron Donnelly goes around in turns 1 and 2. We were about 4 laps shy from what would have been the next Shitty Coolers competition caution, and it's going to come the organic way as the Headiger Racing number 71 of Aaron Donnelly in his first start with this team. At 38 laps to go from South Boston into the Deathwish Coffee restart zone they come. Millington with a great launch initially. Riggs trying to slide up to protect second, but Lapsevich has a fender outside.
Really good restart there for Ryan Millington. Lane Riggs, maybe not as good as the previous restart. In fact, it still seems like he's yielding ground as Trayton Lapsevich comes out with the scalding pace and scoots back into second place there. Quapple is about to pull side by side with Lane Riggs. Now Riggs is going way up the racetrack. He is doing some exploration, and at this stage in the race, you don't know if it's intentional. It might just be he's trying to find somewhere he can go and stay out of a potential firefight. Now they're strung out single file. Brendan Queen, the final member of the top 5.
Lapsevich now in the tire tracks of Millington on the straightaway. Cuts underneath lead off turn 2. Behind them, you see Carson Quapple just about clear of Lane Riggs in the battle for third. Lapsevich again has been committed to the inside of the racetrack on each end almost every lap that he has been challenging for either the race lead or second. But you've got a quick glimpse there at Carson Quapple, who is up to third.
Don't count Carson Quapple out of this just yet. Yeah, he does have the third spot in front of Lane Riggs. Your graphic on the screen adjust here momentarily. Peyton Sellers has got himself in the top 10 as well. Got to look at that. Right now, this top 4 seems to be separating themselves. I wonder if Brandon Queen is just saving ammunition, if he's going to fire late, or perhaps he's giving it all he's got right now. That remains to be seen. Minnie Tyrell pulling up side by side with Brendan Queen. We've got another caution flag thrown. Car in the middle of turns 3 and 4, scampering out of the way there in the nick of time. Ronnie Bassett Jr. He nearly became a big stopping block for some of these drivers, but he got out of there, and you see the noticeable damage to the back end.
25 lap shootout from Sobo.
Good restart there by Boston. See if he can slide job. I thought he might try it.
And he is clear for the race lead. Carson Quapple to the point.
Who saw this coming 30 minutes ago? Carson Quapple all of a sudden looks like the best car out there. Maybe we got our answer about who was saving the gear for later on, because Carson Quapple's got serious speed. Millington in second now. Lapsevich right behind him. Lane Riggs, you would think it was a decent restart for Lane Riggs, but he hasn't been able to gain any ground. He's trying to keep Brendan Queen at bay, who's still sitting in 5th right now.
Last thing Carson Quapple wants to see is a caution. I think the one thing that Connor Hall wants to see is this fight rage on to the finish, because he's coming quickly. Riggs in a 0-0. Tyrell up into the side of Butterbean. Remember, these two had a spirited fight at North Wilkesboro Speedway for a top 5 spot. 3 to go with Hall closing.
Let's just see how physical this gets. It might be by design, it might be by accident, but this is a really good trio right there, and the finish of this race is going to be outstanding.
Don't count out Mini Tyrell as being a championship contender. He started this race 30 points out as well, and he knows what his agenda is as we are coming around to the white flag. 1 lap to go for Carson Kvapil. First time we've seen Carson back in a Cars Tour late model stock since North Wilkesboro. He's a half a lap away from doing one thing that nobody has ever done at South Boston. Win from outside in the top 5. He started 6th and will slide his way to the checkers. 2-time winner at South Boston for Carson Kvapil, who takes the AutoByNelson.com 280.